And we'll move on to some other stranger topics. I got something quick for everyone. So there has been a new PDF that has been put out by Hal Puthoff. This is like a 37-page PDF about the possible origins of UFOs and extraterrestrials. It's pretty interesting. So Hal Puthoff, for anybody who doesn't know, he's an American parapsychologist. He's also an engineer. He was one of the founders of Tom DeLonge's company, To the Stars Academy. He's also probably most notably recognized as one of the founders or key members in Project Stargate with Russell Targ. So that's the CIA partially funded remote viewing operation or remote viewing project that took place in the I think the 70s and 80s. And so he's been on the forefront of UFOs, interested in this stuff for a very long time. And he put out this PDF called the ultra-terrestrial model. And in this PDF, he tries to break down what these things visiting our planet could be. He breaks it down into a couple different categories. He thinks that these UFOs could be a community of ETs or gods that, if they appeared thousands of years ago, they'd be viewed as gods. He also speculates that these whoever is piloting these UFOs could be remnants of an isolated culture that is a descendant of Atlantis or Lemuria. Basically, humans or whoever was populating this place before us had technology and continued to remain here. We, us humans, just kind of evolved in our own way. And then he also speculates that an ancient occult group accidentally stumbled upon these creatures through their occult practices and discovered new sources of energy and discovered new dimensions through their occult practices. And he references people like the Third Reich, the Nazis, and the Zrill Society that were dealing with some black arts. So he has those hypotheses out there. So hypotheses, and he kind of digs into saying, okay, they're here on Earth. These aliens are here. They're making it kind of a little well known. Well, is it a Roswell crash situation where something crashed down and their technology was grabbed up by us, and then that seeded what we are experiencing today? Our technological revolution was partially seeded by that. Or was it some sort of isolated group, like from Atlantis? And what would that look like? Well, maybe the telltale signs of an isolated group of humans with advanced technology might look like something like the airship flap that happened in the late 1800s, early 1900s, where there were tons and tons of people throughout the United States swearing that they saw airships in the sky, and some of those even landed down and interacted with people. Hell, there was an airship that was supposedly crashed, and its occupant died and was buried in a grave in Texas. That's a very well-known story. Then the other hypothesis is possibly maybe it's a stranded population of ETs, and they were stranded here a long time ago. They just decided to make Earth their home, and they're kind of living in parallel to us. And then the last one that he kind of speculates on is interdimensional or the time traveler hypothesis. And he goes into saying that, well, maybe that the telltale signs of this is that humans sometimes experience portal access to these alternate realities, that things may appear to be out of sync, or you experience a time slip where accidentally you walk through one of these portals and you see a bunch of people dressed in period clothing that are from the 1800s, 1900s, and you slip back into our time, which he has like all this stuff cited throughout this entire PDF. And what he basically comes down to suggesting is the ultra-terrestrial hypothesis, that we are dealing with And these UFOs are basically a race of entities that are living on Earth with us in parallel, and that all the interactions that we've experienced is to obfuscate their true origin and their agenda. Because all the recent claims that alien abductees have had has basically been a warning against atomic weapons. And why would aliens really care if we're blowing each other up with atomic weapons unless they're living here? And he said, well, if they are living here, well, then they probably engage in subterfuge and disinformation, misdirection to make people think that they're actually coming from someplace outside the solar system. And that throughout the decades, if not centuries, of these interactions between humans and ultra-terrestrials, they've taken a wide range of appearance, ranging from people who just look like humans to grays to dwarfs to fairies. They take on all shapes and sizes. And the last one he points to as a possible telltale sign that these are ultra-terrestrials living right next to us is that a lot of time abductees talk about being taken to cave-like or undersea destinations during these abductions, meaning they're not that far away. That these encounters, they're not often taken to faraway worlds. Like, it's happening right here, baby. It's happening. And so I'll post a link to this PDF. It's pretty fascinating. I'd like to see what Congress thinks about this in their new UFO hearings, but I doubt it will get much play.
Oh, they'll get right on that.
Give us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Check out obdmpod.com for all the social media and donation links. Be a part of the magic.